that. What about the giving up of all the worldly, denying your desires? Buddhists seem to think that was part of.
Well, this is why rules don't work, because desires fall away, but the personality doesn't make them fall away. And if you try and make them fall away, that's just the personality doing its thing. You're just still in the prison. So the personality loves the idea of, oh, if I follow this and I do that and I lose my desires. But the personality won't look, it can't lose its desires. It is desire. It's built on that. Its energetic source is desire to escape the wound and to make you safe and all these other things. Find love and make you feel appreciated and find acceptance. And so it is desire. So the idea that this is where it goes wrong. Here's the Buddha, this shining light, and then here's Buddhism. That for me is when it becomes Buddhism. And Buddhism is a nice idea in the mind of the group personality, especially as it's got the peaceful element, but it's not the Buddha. The Buddha, I can't imagine a Buddha would come up with all those rules. My God. Yeah. But speaking to your point, though, things do drop away. If those things are, if it's true what is said and desire comes from personality, then those kind of desires beyond personality, it makes sense, doesn't it? They kind of fall away.
And I would say I would say that everyone in this group, to some degree, we are identifying the desires of the personality and saying no. Now I don't think we're doing that with sex, but there may be, like my personality one is seeking approval, and I'll be like, and when I see that that's coming from the personality, I might say, oh, I'm not going to act on that, because I see the energetic source of it is the personality. So no, I'm not.
Yeah, but it's a dodgy area, because when you first said we say no to it, that can sound like what I just talked about. Like it's like, here's a rule and you can't have that, therefore we repress it and say no. But a no to it which comes from the awareness is a different no. It's more like that is a falling away, really, because you think, yeah, I could do that, something in me wants to, but there's something else that kind of sees through that. So that falling away is not from a kind of doctrine or anything. It's more organic.
Yeah, I've found that when you look at what the desire is trying to fulfill and what need is in that, and go to that, it'll fall away once you have acknowledged or felt that or whatever. It'll fall away organically, as you say.
Yeah,
it's like saying no to it is the other way around. It's not going to work, I don't think.
Yeah, but let's be clear. Like, there's desire, which is what we mean by, what the personality wants to feel safe or to feel loved or to feel special. But that's different to, passion. You could have passion from the character that says do this, and has joy in it, and that wouldn't be the same as desire. I wouldn't call that the same. It's more like a fulfillment of creativity, or so it's not, it sounds terribly drab, doesn't it? Like no desire is like there's a monk like sort of thing with it, but it's not to do with lack of passion or doing anything.
The drive in that, isn't there? There's a must, or
yeah, I'm not happy until I get the Ferrari, whereas the other one is, you could buy a Ferrari from not personality. You could do. I've got the money. I don't really need it, but I want to experience it. So you could do it like that, and you'd probably really soon get bored and not want it. But it's possible you could do it without that. But mostly it's linked with, I'm only happy when I get the flashy car and the women are attracted to me, isn't it? And then that would be desire.
Well, and I think the key word is attachment. And that's what Buddhism, that's what, like, the Four Noble Truths of Buddhism is life is suffering, which, you know, when we're talking about is, yeah, the person, you know, being identified with personality, as you said, Jess, it's all suffering. So I think that's what he was pointing at. It's life with as a personality, being identified as a personality is suffering.
That's the bit he didn't say, isn't it?
Yeah. He just said life is suffering.
Vital
But then
bit.
he said the way out is, and the cause of suffering, he said, is some translations are desire, but really it's attachment.
Right.
So yeah, what's the difference between Yeah, so I guess so it would be interesting because and then that's a big part of Buddhism is recognizing attachment and that's the cause of suffering. So what would attachment mean in our?
Well, in that example I just gave with the guy in the Ferrari, like the attachment would be coming, the energetic source would be personality. So it would be, I'm attached to the idea of getting the car because when I get the car, I'll be happy. And when I get the car, I will be looked up to as a real man or whatever, or as a successful, powerful man. So that's you can see where the attachment comes in.
Yeah, and in Landmark, we have a big distinction of commitment versus attachment. And it's I use this all the time. Is yeah, because you can be committed to something without being attached to it. So does that do you agree? Do you see that? How do you see that difference?
Committed to something versus attachment. Well, I mean, I tried to give another example, didn't I, of a guy who could buy a Ferrari not as a desire. So if he's committed to fulfilling something that he wanted to do, but it's not coming from personality, it's just, you could call it a joy. You could say he's committed to exploring that and then dropping it.
You know, just hearing you talk about you writing the books and how you were like up at 4 a.m. writing it, and you were, that to me sounds like someone who's really committed to getting this out. But yeah, I'm sure you would say you weren't. Yeah, if you would have been attached to getting that out, I'm sure it would have been a very different.
Yes, it's a good example to use. Yeah, I mean, I had absolute commitment to it. I had commitment to the creative passion and drive that arose in me to do it as a project. So I had a commitment to that. But no desire. Not desire in the way I've just kind of defined it. It's big, you know, if we're using desire, I've linked it with this because of that Buddha phrase, desire is cause of suffering. So I'm sort of saying if we're using desire, the word desire in that way, it's linked with suffering.
As attachment.
Yeah. So in that way, I had no desire in it, meaning it really wasn't a case of when I put this book out and people read it, I'll be happy. But I wasn't desiring it like that. But there was a passion and a great focus and energy and commitment to make it happen because it was something that seemed to want to happen, and a great joy in it too. So all the kind of natural state things were kind of there without the sort of desire and the energetic source of personality driving it. The desire has a future in it. When that happens, then I'll be happy there's a future. Whereas this is like, it's in the now. So whatever I'm writing now, I'm engaged, you know, in that moment, I was fulfilled. Every page, it's like the vertical line I talked about in the Infinite Journey. Do you remember that? So the vertical line is, I'm on this page now in the book. Maybe I'd only done 2 chapters, got 2 chapters together, but that's where I was, and I was happy in that moment creating that bit and not thinking too far ahead about what's going to happen with the rest. I mean, of course, as a writer and with structure, you have to do that at certain points, and that's all part of it too. But it wasn't like I'm only going to be happy when I get to the 33rd chapter and finish it. I was happy at that point because I was in the middle of that creative thing and I was unattached to it. Because it's a pressure, isn't it? You could just start having thoughts like, maybe this won't work out. Maybe people won't like it. Maybe they don't understand this point. Maybe I haven't done a good job. 1,000 thoughts could be put on it from the personality that could sabotage the free expression of it.